Today we're going to describe how in the movie A Star is Born, there was a focus on tinnitus ringing in the ears. A Star is Born featured the movie stars Bradley Cooper and the musician Lady Gaga. They represented two characters, country music star Jack Maine and his relationship with Allie, an aspiring singer. In the movie, as you can see, which came out in 2018, it referenced how the main character, Jack Maine, experienced anxiety attacks and alcoholism. However, one of the symptoms or the conditions that seemed to trigger some of these attacks and episodes was tinnitus, ringing in the ears. And being a rock musician, country rock musician, he experienced loud noise exposure throughout his career, and that was portrayed in the movie, which had clips of loud ringing in the ears. In today's video, I'm going to describe my perspective as an audiologist, doctor of hearing loss and tinnitus, and give some true perspectives on the importance of how media like this and movies like this can help us learn about tinnitus and hearing loss, as well as what parts of this movie weren't so accurate and need to be corrected. In the movie A Star is Born, Jack Maine was played by Bradley Cooper. Jack Maine was a famous musician who played very loud country rock and roll concerts, often to sold out arenas. And as a result of all the loud noise exposure, as well as being born with some hearing loss, Jack Maine heard a constant tone of tinnitus ringing in the ears. It often was portrayed in the movie that he had trouble hearing conversations and at times communicating with others. It was mentioned in the movie that he may have gotten this problem by putting his head inside of a type of vintage record player when he was a child. Most likely, however, playing loud rock music over many years was a major factor as to why he developed the conditions of tinnitus and hearing loss. In the movie, his manager urged him to wear in-ear monitors, which are custom molded earplugs, for preventing hearing loss. However, it doesn't seem that he ever did. Tinnitus, or ringing in the ears, is a hyperactive electrical activity between the auditory brain and the cochlea, the hearing organ. It can be caused by numerous things, including medical ear conditions, ear infections, head or neck issues, hearing loss, as well as stress. However, in the movie, it seems that the most common cause of his ringing in the ears was due to loud noise exposure as a musician. Tinnitus is very common among musicians, and it's said that there's about a 60% increase in risk for tinnitus for musicians as opposed to the average population. This film is fictional. However, the depiction of hearing loss and tinnitus among famous rock musicians is quite common. Many rock musicians have tinnitus, ringing in the ears, and many are bothered by it. In fact, the American Tinnitus Association reports that tinnitus can affect as much as 15% of the United States population, with between 1 and 2 million people suffering from significant bothersome tinnitus. For the many people who are suffering from extreme cases of tinnitus, have hope, because there are treatments and therapies that have been proven to work for a vast majority of individuals. Through a natural process of what's called habituation, the brain can learn to defocus from the sound and reduce the awareness of the sound significantly in one's day-to-day. In A Star is Born, Bradley Cooper's character was given medication which he used to seemingly not only manage tinnitus, but also anxiety and significant mental health concerns. Now, there is no medication directly for tinnitus, and those who have tinnitus, significant bothersome tinnitus, may use anti-anxiety medication either for their condition or for something else going on with their psychological system. However, it must be noted that medication is not a cure or treatment for tinnitus. Indirectly, it can reduce symptoms, and that's an important point for tinnitus, is that it is a symptom. In the case of Bradley Cooper's character of A Star is Born, tinnitus is a symptom of hearing loss. Tinnitus is also a symptom of other just hyperactivity in the connection between the auditory brain and the auditory organ, the cochlea. Psychiatric medications are typically not considered the best approach for treatment of tinnitus. Usually the best approach is a combination of professional counseling focusing on CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy techniques for tinnitus, as well as ear-level sound therapy or tinnitus maskers, devices that are programmed up and behind the ears with a speaker inside of the ears playing low-level white noise or pink noise during the period of time it takes for the brain to habituate or reduce the perception of the sound. Overall, this is a great film because it shows us that musicians do struggle with tinnitus and hearing loss. And I'm happy that we showcase some of the images of the movie here just so we could get a sense of what it was like for this main character. My name is Dr. Ben Thompson, founder of TrebleHealth.com, and we do focus on tinnitus and hearing loss. On my YouTube channel here, we're focused on those conditions as well. Make sure to check out the next video up in the suggested on the next screen, and you're going to learn more about how tinnitus and hearing loss can affect us. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you for watching today's video with Treble Health. Check out our next video by clicking the button on this screen or another recommended video. And if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much. See you on the next video.